Yes, sir. You already know what time it is. We back up in here again. Hope everybody is excited for the day. Beautiful day, beautiful day. So today, guys, got another beautiful rerun for you guys. A lot of people was interested in child support and things like that. So we're going to run this for you guys today. And as always, we give thanks for you guys' participation. Make sure you guys hitting that share button, like, and subscribe with us. YouTube, In God We Trust Academy. Twitch, In God We Trust Academy. Facebook, also follow In God We Trust Academy. But right now, to catch the lives, just also follow me, Eric Ingram Bay. Got a blue check beside my name, so you can't miss it. Also on TikTok, MNRP6192020 or Turban Swag. Appreciate you guys for always tuning in with us, man. Such a beautiful experience here with you guys. As always, man, you know, can't beat what we do here and the type of fellowship that we do have, right? So we're going to get you guys in here and then we're going to jump this thing off, man. Drop some ones if you're with me. Drop some ones if you're with me today. Let's go. Such a beautiful day. Yes, sir. Get back on them beats, bro. All these beats I'm playing right now, old though. I haven't touched it in a while, so I just been going through all my old beats and stuff. You know, feeling the vibe. Yes, sir. We're going to get started in about 3 more minutes, guys. So make sure you guys like and share as I am sharing this with you, right? Yeah. Make sure we giving all our praises this morning, man. Just rising. Ain't no turning around no more now, family. Once you get into this, once you see the truth, once your eyes is open, ain't no going back. Hey. So if you know anybody with child support right now, make sure you do tell them to come on in. Don't forget about our upcoming class conference, private administration. December the 7th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Located in Huntsville, Alabama. If you want to come in person, we will be at the Huntsville Country Club. $250 in person. Live stream is $200, right? Deadline to register for the live stream is November the 30th. Deadline to register in person is December the 4th. So we're going to be teaching you guys private court settlement, which is showing you how to settle pretty much any and all matters outside of court. Teach you guys lawful money protection, also dealing with taxation, stuff like that. How to, never be taxed again, which you should never be taxed in the first place unless you are in commerce. It's the only way. Also, easy to use financial strategies as well. So we're just going to go over a lot of different things that we've covered over the past couple years, man. So again, thank you guys for being here with us, man. So we're just going to go ahead and run this for you guys. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. This is a rerun for those of you that don't know. This actually comes from our last season that we just had, season 4. So you guys make sure that you do enjoy. And you guys have a great one. Tune in.
All right, so we'd like to welcome everybody to Work Session Season 4, In God We Trust, hosted to you by the Eric Ingram Bay Living Trust, presented to you by myself, Eric Ingram Bay. I appreciate each and every last one of you and all participants that has fully participated with us in the past, present, and those of you that will be here in the future as well that will be listening to this. We give thanks, though, for each and everybody's participation. Everybody that has put forth the effort, the work, the studying, the time, everything that it takes to do this. We fully give thanks to you all for that as well, and just doing everything. We give thanks to the Most High for this time, for this moment, being able to be in control of this moment, which shapes the past, present, and future. This is where you have control at. Making the decision and the choice now will control the present, past, and future. So we give thanks for having that free conscious and will power given by our Creator to be able to, access and tap into this power and manifest those things that is going to uplift the fallen within humanity. And that is something major that we are steady on the daily correcting. So we just give thanks, as always. Everything that you hear is for educational or religious purposes only. Anybody seeking any form of legal advice, please do seek a legal advisor, as it is my religious duty to speak my religious truth and experiences. All right. So with that being said, how is everybody doing?
Doing great.
Great, bro.
Wonderful. Amazing.
Great.
Oh, super great. Good time. That's what's up. Glad everybody's just doing great, feeling good. You should be. I feel pretty good myself. No complaints. I don't ever wake up with any. I just know it's time to get to it. So with that being said, it is now time to start our testimonies for today. So if we can, keep the testimony sweet as possible and straight to the point as well. All right. So are there any testimonies? Let's get those hands up. Papa Demetrio, you're up first.
Hey, Eric, how's it going?
Man, it's going pretty good. Just checking out the menu here at Papa Demetrio's.
You can smell it, can't you?
Man, it's a nice menu.
So today I took an action. I went to the Registrar of Deeds in my county in Queens, New York, to file the conveyance I made to the trust for the birth certificate. And unfortunately, I was denied. I basically, brought the New York laws and all that stuff with me. And the guy just gave me an attitude, basically. So I was just calm, and I'm gonna do more research on how to get that done, because that's the place where I think you need to go to get that done. But I did take an action. I did stand my ground, told him that, hey, it says here that any property, even intangible, you're supposed to file.
Right.
And he didn't even want to read anything else, because he did read my conveyance form, and he said, okay, where is your property? So I put the birth certificate right on the counter. And he's like, no, I can't. I can't file that. I said, oh, yes, you can. I said, it's a form of property. But long story short, I took that action. This is the second time I've been there, but I'm gonna
See
continue.
if they have a place where they file for public records. But if not, the best form of communication is always by a written letter. Let people read their violations and what they're actually facing up against, and let it be known that your rights were infringed upon by a pretty much an officer or agency or recorder of the particular court.
Yeah, and that was a supervisor too. So yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, so that's my story. So I did take that action. So
all righty then, absolutely. Well, keep going, don't stop. Trust me, I went through it myself and finally got mine filed, entered into, but I had to go down and put the pen to the paper and make things happen.
look at that. Yep, that's what I'm gonna have to do. Yep, I appreciate you, Eric.
Yeah, no problem. Is there anybody else with a testimony today? At this moment, anybody else? Come on with it. Isaiah Robles, you're up.
I just want to testify. I filed my declaration today, and I'm pretty happy.
Well, that's what's up. Which declaration?
The declaration of my trust.
Okay, well, that's great. I'm glad you filed it and find that as a success, as it always is. Now it is your duty to administrate it.
Yes, sir.
Peace to the Most High. Thank you. Anybody else? Anybody else got a testimony? Y'all be holding back. What you scared of? Go ahead, Miss Stalker.
Well, I don't know if it's a testimony or not, but based on the classes and the work sessions I have taken from you, yesterday I had needed some information from the Department of Social Services about their director, and the guy was giving me a hard time. So I basically told him he was infringing on my First and Fifth Amendment, and I went over his head and told him I was going to call the Inspector General. Long story short, he transferred me to the right person after I told him that, and I was able to get all the information I needed.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Always stand on your rights. That is the main thing. Have to. So, congratulations to that as well. Danielle Rogers, excuse me.
Hey, Eric. So I sent off all of my documents last week with a negotiable instrument to pay off my car. Spoke with them today, and they have received it, and they are processing it, and I did overpay. And they told me that everything should be completed by next Tuesday. So blessings to you.
Well, congratulations to you as well. And thankful to the Most High.
Yes,
all
sir.
these great testimony.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So, guys, family, what's up? What's up? Anybody else? Why don't you just pay for your own kids? Well, if you stay around long enough, you'll learn how to benefit and everything. All right, who else we got? Anybody else? Anybody else? All right, let's jump into it then. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Ready. Today we are going to talk about. I have talked about this numerous times, but I feel like this is one of the most easiest things to one speak about. Two, a lot of men go through, and some women. But just being able to know your rights in this situation and all the different ways that you can exercise your right when it comes to due process of child support. Now, we're going to speak about this, but the main thing is I'm trying to get you to understand and recognizing your right, being able to point it out and assert it. As soon as your right is violated, you are to immediately correct the matter instantly. Okay? Right then and there. It's very important that you do. Because if you do not, that means you waive it and you do not have that right. So those who don't assert the right don't have the right. And that means you have to fully protect it to the fullest, right? Fully protected to the fullest. So let's just talk about some things, right? What are the type of courts that are supposed to be upon the people? There's not supposed to be any type of bench trial courts. Every court is to be a form of trial by jury court, right? Everyone, you were supposed to be amongst our peers. I don't care what it is. Every single solitary time. If you're in a situation where you're not amongst your peers at all, then we have to realize that the judicial proceeding is an error and it lacks jurisdiction, right? According and afforded to the rights that are fully protected by the Constitution, both state and the U.S. Constitution, right? That's one of the main things. So one thing that we have to know is that a judge or anybody cannot sit on a case that they have interest in. Well, we automatically know the Child Support Enforcement Agency does a contract with pretty much all parties involved. Well, I know pretty much any party that's involved in relation to this particular case is actually getting paid, whether it's the court, whether the judge, the clerk, whether prosecutor, whether the sheriff, some investigator, any form of agency or private contractors that they might link up with to find out more information about where your whereabouts at, etc. Right? This is a total contract. So since we know that this is a contract, and this means that the judge has interest on it, so the court not supposed to have interest in a particular case, and this brings it out of a judicial, the form of judicial proceedings, and this comes under what? Administrative proceedings now, correct?
Correct.
So you have a right to a jury, correct?
Correct.
So how are they able to take that right away from you? Are they seizing a right from you without due process?
Yes.
Think about that. What about all the men that even though you wasn't there or you wasn't properly given notice or properly served about the particular case as well, and they just go ahead and assign something, $300, $400, whatever the case may be. And those situations like that is, one, this is a contract to where all parties have to do what, guys?
Agree.
Mutual.
I gotta agree.
Everybody has
Gotta
to
be meeting of the
in
minds.
agreements. So you don't have to be in agreement to that. And if you are forced, then it is a form of coercion, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. That is another thing. So I'm just calling out just a few different things that you could just take a look at. All right. Not only just that, when it comes to it's about your ability to pay, and your ability to pay meaning that they cannot send you to jail when it was not like it's not like a willful intent that you made not to pay. You just couldn't pay. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, they can only hold you in contempt if you said, "Hey, I'm just not gonna pay," right? Willfully. But if you lost your job, etc., whatever, and you're not able to pay, that's a different story. It's not contempt of court because you're not able to do something. Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
I hope you are, because it makes a big difference. See, because anytime they start speaking about breaking, a law or crime or whatever, they always have to prove one main thing: the willful intent to disobey. But did you have willful intent to disobey when you were just not able? See, it's about your ability to pay. But if you wasn't able due to you not being able to work, etc., whatever the case may be, right?
Yes, sir.
Case can see the situation can be handled in a different way. And then a lot of y'all let these people say, hey, let me see your income. Let me see this. Okay, so just because you see my income don't mean you know my expenses. Understand that?
Correct.
And number one, anything that's dealing with family is part of the Privacy Act. Think about that. The family has their own internal affairs, which is why it's always great to have a trust in this type of situation, right? I need you to really, because all I'm doing is just exercising equity here and want you guys to listen to the words that I'm saying so you can really fulfill what's going on. Okay? So in this situation, we have here where I'm going to show you how you can fully get rid of, and then everything in here. So if you so happen to get this class, or you get this class for the month of August, my point in me telling you this, everything in here, guys, might not be for your specific situation. So what's not, take it out. And I guarantee you somebody's going to say, hey, this doesn't apply. What do I do? I just told you what to do, but it's going to happen anyway. I know it is. It's just like telling somebody, hey, don't run through the brick wall. It's going to hurt. And somebody's going to do it. And it don't even have to be a child. It's going to be a grown adult. They're going to do it. They're going to try to run through the wall for some reason and say, hey, the wall was there. Yeah, we told you not to run through it. so it happened.
Don't do them like that. Don't do
Bro,
them like that.
I don't. They do themselves like that. Trust me, I'm for real. And it's really it's really because people are always in a hurry. You're in a hurry to get somewhere. And it's like I said, like whatever age you are right now, let's say you double those years. But right now you're thinking you don't have time. But think about all the time that you did live and all the stuff that you didn't do or conserve your time. So it matters. It's all I'm saying. All right, so the defendant's motion to dismiss child support enforcement action was prejudice. Now we're going to show you how this can be done in many different ways. Yes, this can be paid in many different ways. As you can see, I've shown child support in many different ways to handle this, but this is a conglomerate of all of it. All right, so comes down to defendant, and we're going to do two different ways. I'm going to show you how to do it in a defendant stage, and I'm also going to show you how to bring it as a civil suit today. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes, sir.
For sure.
For sure.
Thank you.
All right, so comes down to defendant. Jane Doe respectfully move this honorable court to dismiss the child support enforcement action brought by the plaintiff. So you'll put the name of the custodial and the child support enforcement agency on the grounds that the action is unconstitutional, it lacks jurisdiction, and violates multiple protected liberties under the United States Constitution. And you can say whatever state that you are in too, because that Constitution is being violated. If they violate the U.S. Constitution, they automatically violated the state Constitution, because the state Constitution and the U.S. Constitution has to be in alignment. Got it?
Got it.
Got it.
All right, so lack of jurisdiction here. Subject matter jurisdiction, the plaintiff seeks to enforce a child support order under Title 4D of the Social Security Act. However, the Child Support Enforcement Agency is an administrative body and lacks proper judicial authority to enforce child support orders. According to the Alabama Constitution, Article 1, Section 13, all courts shall be open to every person for any injury done him in his lands, goods, person, or reputation shall have a remedy by due process of law. This provision ensures that only courts of competent jurisdiction can issue and enforce orders that affect individual rights and obligations. Okay? And they cannot make you comply to a contract that you don't agree with. So there has to be separation of powers here, right? So the involvement of the Child Support Enforcement Agency in enforcing child support orders without proper judicial oversight violates the separation of powers doctrine. So again, it's always in the wrong proceeding every single time, because you're supposed to be amongst a what, family? In any case,
Peers.
Peers.
a jury, right? Exactly. So the U.S. Supreme Court emphasized that judicial function must be performed by Article III court, not by administrative bodies. Again, the enforcement of child support, which involves significant financial obligations and potential deprivation of liberty through wage garnishment or incarceration for non-payment, should be subject to proper judicial scrutiny. It has to be, because if it involves taking away any other form of your liberties, then it has to go through the correct due process of law. Right? So that also means that they can't use child support to take away your right to travel. Can't do it. That's a violation. Anytime they try to do it based upon your non-payment, when one, you didn't have the ability to pay, maybe you didn't have the funds or whatever the case may be. It wasn't that you said you wasn't going to pay, you just didn't have the ability to pay. And it's always based upon your ability to pay. Well, every day is different for everyone. Right?
Correct.
So the enforcement of child support, which involves significant financial obligations, potential deprivation of liberty, it should be subject to proper judicial scrutiny, right? Personal jurisdiction, the court must have proper personal jurisdiction over the defendant. All right, the Mennonite Board of Admission versus Adams. The U.S. Supreme Court held that due process requires notice reasonably calculated to apprise interested parties of the pendency of the action. If the defendant was not properly served or informed of the proceeding, the court lacks personal jurisdiction, rendering any orders void. So do know that in order for them to have proper jurisdiction, there has to be a proper proceeding. So that means they have to summon you according to an Article III court as well. Administrative court cannot summon you. It is a violation of due process of law. Do you understand that part? So is it possible for them to have personal jurisdiction? No, because they've already violated, infringed upon your rights for due process, right?
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Now let's jump into the due process violation. Lack of fair hearing. We got them already just by saying that. The due process clause of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution guarantees that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. All right, Matthews versus Eldridge, 1976, the Supreme Court outlined three-part test to determine what process is due. The private interest affected by the official action, the risk of erroneous, yes, thank you. The risk of erroneous deprivation of such interest through the procedures used. And also somebody, all right, whoever you is, Contera Sibley, we finna see everything in your phone. Go right ahead. We finna see everything going on in your phone. You might want to get off of that. All right. I was just warning you for you got to go in them photos or something. We're trying to save you. All right. So the government interests, including the function involved and the fiscal administrative burdens, the additional or substitute procedure requirements would entail. The procedures employed by the plaintiff, particularly if relying on administrative enforcement without a full and fair judicial hearing, may violate the defendant's due process right, particularly where significant financial or liberty interests are at stake. It ain't no may violate, it does violate. All right, inadequate consideration of ability to pay. Listen, because if you don't know nothing else, you can know this. I keep telling y'all, nobody know anything about you but who?
Me.
You. They don't know your expenses. They don't know that your money is already being used, and if your money is already has for a specific purpose. If it does, then we can consider that money as trust property because it's already entrusted for a specific purpose. Do you understand what I'm saying?
For sure.
All right, so the enforcement of child support obligation must consider the defendant's ability to pay. Bennett versus Georgia, 1983, the Supreme Court held that it is unconstitutional to revoke probation or, by extension, imposing penalties for failure to pay a fine or restitution without determining that the failure to pay was willful. Willful. Similarly, in child support cases, the court must consider whether the defendant's failure to pay is due to an inability to pay rather than a willful non-compliance. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? Because they cannot take away a right or anything from you based upon what? Debt. Because it says in all Constitution that nobody can be in prison for any form of debt, right?
Correct.
Correct.
If you don't know that, you need to go look that up in your state constitution right now. Because it's there. All right. So they have to determine in every situation, is it willful? Did you have willful intent for non-compliance? And the point is, hell, if you ain't making enough money and you ain't got the money because you ain't made enough money, but you got every intent to pay when you get the money, which they don't know that either. But the point is, it's your inability to pay right now. So your inability to pay child support right then and there cannot send you to jail because all you got to do is point them straight to the Constitution where it says that you cannot be in prison for the lack of for debt, right?
Correct.
So let's just use this one for example, right? Let's just use this one. Let's just go use this one for a minute. Let's show you what I'm talking about. Let's show you how you can just put them in a situation that they ain't gonna be too proud of hearing. They don't want to hear none of that. All right. It's easy to find. Should be, let's see. Spell of attainder, section 20. Imprisonment for debts. That no person shall be in prison for debt. So now, if no person can be in prison for debt, according to the Constitution of Alabama, right? Then what we have to do is determine the willful intent to, and he's saying non-compliance, that's just like saying, I ain't gonna pay it. I'm not complying with it. Or I don't have the money to pay. So you can't, I don't care how many times you bring me up in this court and demand that I have to pay it, I don't have it to pay. And guess what? If they decide that, oh, we're gonna take it out of your check then. No, that's from my light bill. And guess what? If they cut your lights off, based upon them taking your money for your inability to pay something, they took away a what? A liberty, right?
A liberty, yeah.
And they did it without due process of law. They seized it. Because one, this is still the wrong judicial proceeding. Do you understand what I'm telling you guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So based on what you're looking at, think about it. No person shall be in prison for debt. Keep that in your mind. Let's go back here and read that, right? In child support cases, the court must consider whether the defendant's failure to pay is due to an inability to pay rather than a willful noncompliance. Well, let's just say your job, they ain't been pumping like they were supposed to, right? So you short on everything. That's the inability to pay. It's not a, you know what I'm saying? And they can't seize a right or seize a form of property based upon your inability to pay. Because as soon as they cut off your lights, based upon them taking money for child support, what does that do to you?
Harms you.
Cause harm. So if you don't state that to them that, hey, this contract causes me harm, right?
Yes, sir.
Think about that. Challenge to the validity of the original child support order as well. Lack of proper establishment. The defendant challenged the validity of the original child support order on the grounds that it was issued without the defendant's full participation or a proper hearing, because we always got to be in the right setting. The defendant asserts that the order was based on incorrect or incomplete information and that the defendant was not properly notified of the proceedings. As such, the original order may be voidable. All right, so that's another way. And this Armstrong versus Manzo 1965 established that due process requires an opportunity to be heard at a meaningful time in a meaningful manner. So, argument for the best interest of the child. The defendant argues that the enforcement of an unrealistic or overly burdensome child support order does not serve the best interest of the child, particularly if it results in financial ruin for the paying parent. See that? If it causes financial harm to you for the paying parent, think about that. The best interest of the child standard is paramount in family law. Enforcing a fair, reasonable, and sustainable order aligns with these principles. So, Trucks versus Granville emphasized the importance of considering the best interests of child matters in affecting parental rights. So you got to think about that. Does this affect your parental rights in taking care of your child? Because, man, it's a lot to go into this, yo. And I'm saying this because they can take money straight out of your pocket, right? Send it over to the other parent, and then the child comes to you, and let's say now you don't have enough money to take care of your child in your own home. Does that cause you a financial harm? And does that cause harm to the child's interests when they're at your home?
Absolutely.
Does that enables you?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All you gotta do is think, family. Think. Defendant's ability to provide for the child needs and participate in their upbringing. The court should consider whether the current order promotes or hinders the child's well-being. So does it impair the ability to maintain a relationship with the child? Financial distress caused by an unrealistic support order could limit the defendant's ability to provide for the child needs and participate in their upbringing. And it can, because if you're constantly having to work and you can't participate in the religious aspect of your child's life, does that harm the best interest of the child?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I told y'all, every time I teach something, I teach it different, don't it? Challenge to automatic penalties and lack of enforcement discretion. The defendant challenges the use of automatic enforcement and mechanisms such as wage garnishment, license suspensions, or incarceration for non-payment of child support. These measures do not allow for judicial discretion and fail to consider the specific circumstances of the case, which may violate due process, as we already know and have proved it does. Held that in the civil contempt cases for non-payment of child support, due process requires consideration of the defendant's ability to pay before imposing penalties such as incarceration. Equitable estoppel based on plaintiff's conduct. Past conduct of the plaintiff. The defendant argues that the plaintiff should be stopped from pursuing the full amount of the support order due to their past conduct. if the plaintiff engaged in actions that led the defendant to reason believe that the strict enforcement would not be pursued, such as informal agreements to reduce or forgive support payments. This should be taken into account as well, especially when they consider everything that you have already done as gifts and they try to go back as back time on that. Tell them they can't consider nothing that you have or say is gifts. They don't have the right to do that. That's infringing upon anything. It's not gifts. If that's the case, and we're going to consider all of this gifts, then tell the plaintiff I need they need to be filing a 706. 709, one of them. Yeah, I need to see some taxation then. Then now all hell done broke loose. Because if this is going to be gifts, then the rest is going to be considered gifts too. All right, so as well as Heckler versus Community Health Service, Crawford County provides that the equitable estoppel may be applied against a party who has engaged in conduct that would make it unjust to allow them to assert a claim, and it does. Wrong proceeding. All right, procedural violation administration versus judicial orders. The defendant argues that if the child support order was issued administratively rather than through a proper court proceeding, the enforcement process lacked the necessary judicial oversight and due process. All right, Califiano and Yamasaki stresses that the government must follow proper procedural safeguards before taking actions that signify and affect individual rights. That has to be done. Has to be done. Service and notice issues. The defendant further asserts that if they were not properly served or notified of the original child support action, any resulting orders or enforcement actions are void due to lack of proper jurisdiction. So again, guys, sometimes you just might go to your mail and see something in there and say, hey, you're on child support. No proper notice. You were not there to determine or say anything when it comes to that. So that can happen too. It has happened to a lot of people, right? So raising constitutional claims in federal court, parallel federal case, the defendant may consider filing a parallel case in federal court if they believe their federal constitutional rights are being violated by the state enforcement action. This could include claims related to due process, equal protection, or involuntary servitude. Federal courts may provide a more favorable forum for hearing constitutional challenges, particularly where state courts have been unresponsive. You can definitely do that all day long. So in this situation right now, guys, let's say they took your driver's license based upon non-payment of child support. That also means that they what? Seize the right. One, in an improper judicial proceeding. Two, your right to travel. There is nothing, no contract that you should enter that should infringe upon your right, especially when it comes to agencies. Right? Think about that. How can it, and I told y'all, there is no document that you can sign out here or do or apply for, considering with the government, agency, or anything that gets to infringe upon your rights protected by the Constitution, your inalienable rights. Nothing. Child support should not take away your right to travel. If they're telling you you can't get a passport, then you need to be defending your right to travel, and that they're seizing a right, violating the Fourth Amendment without due process of law. You have to make that claim for yourself. Very important that you do. The main thing is this whole entire setting is in the wrong proceeding, because any situation dealing with the people has to always be amongst the peers, a jury, an Article 3 court. Correct?
Right.
Correct.
All right, so before we move on to the next one, raise your hands and let me know what you learned about this procedure right here. And it's also a whole lot more I can add to it, but this is just something. All right, ain't nobody learn shit. Well, I see y'all. We're going to get on up out of here.
Hold on now, I got my hand up.
All right, Stalker, go ahead.
I did learn that just because you see my income doesn't mean you know my expenses. I also learned that we were exercising equity. I learned that it has to be shown that it was a willful intent that you did not pay. And Article 3 court was not the one that was supposed to be judging, if I understood that right. It was based on the Constitution, and you could not be imprisoned for debt.
Right. So now when they go in there and they say, when they be having the men in court, they'll be like, hey, if you don't pay us today, you're going to jail for a certain amount of days. And then all you got to do is say, well, doesn't it say in the Constitution that I can't be in prison for debt? Well, it's for contempt of court. Well, I have an inability to pay. It's not my willful. I don't have a willful intent for non-compliance. I'm just not able. You don't got to go to jail, family.
Right. And I did overstate that you stated that this is just not for child support.
Nah, well, it depends in just explaining your rights. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
You need to learn how to protect your rights. So, and I'm saying in any situation, it's about the willful intent. No different than the right to travel. You got to prove that it's my willful intent to break a law when I was only exercising my right to travel. I don't have a willful intent of non-compliance. I'm just exercising a greater, higher law. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right. That's the thing. That's what has to be fully understood. All right. So that's why I say, like, anything that they do, if they taking away your money and garnishing your checks, what you need to decide, does this cause harm to you at home? Your lights went out because they garnishing your checks and you got an inability to pay. It's not a willful non-compliance. It's just, I'm not able. And this happens to people. Times is hard. You think somebody should go to jail because they got fired from a job and now they got to go and be held for contempt of court because they weren't able to pay child support? And then, yeah, I remember, man, listen, every place don't. I remember the last time I called myself filling out applications, I filled out about 60 of them mugs. Nobody called. I was like, yeah, this is not the life for me to wait on somebody to call me to make some money for my life to continue in the manner that I wanted to. Nah, that ain't it. That'll never be it. I ain't waiting on nobody to decide put food on my table. I will learn a trade, a skill, or something, and I promise you, I will find a way. But I don't need the applications to get me some money. That's just not it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that because, guys, women too, stop letting these people get y'all. Stop. I'll never forget, man. These folks told me 250 days based on they were saying I had willful non-compliance when it was just the inability to pay. 250 days. They said give them $5,000 or do 250 days. What the hell is 250 days gonna do for the child's best interest? That's what y'all gonna start asking. Yeah, I would like to ask what me being in jail is going to do for the child's best interest, since that's what we're here for today. I can't do a damn thing locked up for you, making $1.16, if that.
Right.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
They went up on my child support. Now I can't pay my car note. Now it's out of the child's best interest because I can't pick my car finna get taken, and now I can't pick the child up. I'm here for the child best. Is the court not here for the child best interest? If so, then I have an inability to pay, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to choose the child's best interest, meaning I'm going to pay my car note so I can pick up my child from school. Otherwise, this situation causes the child harm. Y'all quiet on me, man. Y'all know how I get when it get quiet, man. It's quiet.
Listen, I got my hand raised.
It's marinating.
No, they really think we some idiots. Like we don't have common sense, and that's how they treat us. Like we some imbeciles.
Facts. That's real though. But I'm trying to make sure I open y'all eyes up to what it is. Because we go in these places like we don't got nothing. It's kind of like most of the time, just growing up, man, all you ever hear was somebody like, man, I gotta go to court today, man. I hope I make it up out of here. It's terrible. Just the thought. Everybody is like, I hope I make it up out of the court. Right? That's crazy. Go ahead, Stalker. You had a question?
Yes, I had just wanted to get a better understanding when you were stating about the family affairs, the privacy.
Right. Is internal. Family affairs is internal.
Okay. And is there a USC code or a UCC code for that?
Contract.
Okay.
Yeah, see, because you gotta and this is why I keep saying, you gotta know who and what your family are. What is the family business? Because the family business could be customs and laws that could be considered sacred and religious and has to fully be carried out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference.
And does that standpoint too, if someone is trying to make you not homeschool your kids?
What you mean?
A bit deeper. Exactly. And that's why I asked more about the family affairs and the privacy, because I'm having a little bit of pushback from trying to homeschool my children.
Well, you just have to enforce religion, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to jump too far.
Thank you. Okay, yes, right. And that's why I said that I was trying to get into that. Thank you. I know, right, Tiffany? Yeah.
Truly enforce your religion. Go ahead, Don Ketchum.
I just have a question. I have a friend that's going through, she's already divorced, but her ex took off with the kids. So she took him to court to get him to comply with the parenting plan. Well, it all flipped on her, and she ended up, she worked a ton of overtime in order to pay the attorney fees. And so her income taxes show she made like $27,000 last year, but they took into account the last 2 months before the final court date. And she had worked 60 plus hours. It made it look like she made $109,000 a year. And now they're trying to make her pay child support based on the last 2 months, which she's never going to work like that.
All she had to do is state that was that all those were court expensive fees. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing. All that is deducted. That's not even counted. Cannot be counted.
She did.
So it's not.
She did. They didn't even take it into account. She told them that.
Here's the thing. Because I hear a lot of people say, well, they did it anyway. Well, what are you going to do? This is where we have to start asserting our right. This is where you either you can appeal the situation, you can take it to a federal court, you can sue in the situation. It's totally up to you, but we got to just stop with they did it anyway situation. We got to go ahead and make our move too, because and see the violation. Yes, they did. Yes, they said this. Yes, they did this or whatever. Because again, they all got an interest in the case in the first place. So that's the number one thing. And again, she has to list her expenses. All she got to do is say, hey, I can't pay this. I don't agree with this. And this will, you telling me this is going to be causing an inability. And I'm going to have to go into bankruptcy.
Yeah, I told her to file
That's what I want to do. And that's going to cause me harm. And it will cause the child harm, because now that's going to make my inability to do what I need to do with my child. I always have to reflect back to the child interest to the fullest. She could have still stated her expenses, but did she expect Did she state the effect of the expenses by them doing that? How it causes her harm? Is it truly in the best interest for the child, etc.?
Yes, and I think she has a terrible attorney, so I think that's part of it.
Well, we've been winning these child support cases for a long time now, left and right. And I usually do it a different way, but I'm just trying to give people a more simpler way because it's still about the willful intent and compliance. All right, Monte Chapel.
Hey, quick question, just for a little bit of clarity. Is this still applicable even for older case? Like, let's say a case that was like settled back in 2019.
Did you use the word settled?
Well, I guess closed.
Because settled means it's done, it's over. There's
Yeah.
agreement between two parties, and it no longer is an
Yeah,
exception.
I misworded that. It was definitely closed. I had no due process.
I mean, you still can go after the case if you can prove that there was errors in the form of jurisdiction and due process. That's any case because there is no statute of limitations when it comes to your rights. What's rightfully yours? What belongs to you?
Okay. And ideally that should happen in the Article 3 federal court, correct? Versus like the circuit court or the state court.
You say what now?
I said ideally that should happen in like an Article 3 federal court versus like an actual state court or a circuit court within the state.
I mean, you can bring it within the state too if you applying the state constitution against them.
Okay.
They still got to listen to it, and the same thing still applies.
Okay. Okay, perfect. That worked.
Right. Well, guys, this is the next part. So let's say you wanted to assert it, and it's really the same thing, just like you asked. This is a civil complaint for declaratory and injunctive relief. So the cause of action is we're here for a declaratory and injunctive relief here, right? So the court has jurisdiction over pursuant to the Alabama Constitution, Article 6 and under the U.S. Constitution, as the claims involve violation of constitutional right. Venue is proper in the court pursuant to whatever appropriate statute in the county that you want to use is already there. But the factual background, the plaintiff was subjected to a child support enforcement action initiated by the defendant under Title 4D of the Social Security Act. The enforcement action includes wage garnishment, potential license suspension, and threats of incarceration, all of which have been imposed without proper consideration of the plaintiff's rights under the U.S. Constitution and or you can say the Alabama state law. So the original child support order was issued without plaintiff's full participation or proper hearing, leading to an order that is both inaccurate and unjust. All right, the cause of action, we want the declaratory judgment for lack of jurisdiction. All right, that's the main thing. The defendant acting through the child support enforcement agency lacks judicial authority to enforce child support orders according to the Alabama Constitution, Article 1, Section 13, as well. Everything has to be done by due process of law. The enforcement of child support orders by the administrative body without proper judicial oversight violates separation of powers doctrine as well. So again, it is in the wrong city at all times. Due process violation under the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution guarantees that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. The procedures employed by the defendant, particularly the reliance on administrative enforcement without a full and fair judicial hearing, violates the plaintiff's due process of rights. Right. So this is it. I mean, anything I say is going to all go back to what? Due process, due process, due process, due process, due process of law. Also going to involve due process of law because, again, who has the interest in the case, guys? The judge. The judge, right? All right, so we had the due process of law. The Supreme Court established three-part test to determine what procedural protections are required by due process. The defendant failed to meet these requirements, particularly by not considering the plaintiff's ability to pay before imposing enforcement actions, thereby causing significant financial harm. Again, they don't know your expenses. They don't know. They don't know what you have to do. They don't know what belongs to the trust. They don't know what belongs to God. 75% of your check might belong to God, and they over there messing with God's money. You can't even get 10% of your earnings because they taking it first. Think about that. Does that cause financial harm? Does it cause you harm in a different contract that you cannot honor? Equal protection violations under the 14th. The enforcement mechanism disproportionately affect non-custodial parents, often men, resulting in gender discrimination in violation of the equal protection. The Supreme Court in Reed versus Reed held the laws discriminating based on gender must have a rational basis and cannot be arbitrary. And I'm pretty sure that we can go through the cases between men and women and we can find a discrimination there. I promise. Based upon, number one, this was one of the things that was to separate the man from the family, to get the man out of the house. So if we was to really dive in this and look for a pattern statistically that shows the difference on how they treat men in situations than women in this, I promise we will find it. But that's just one of the things that you can say as well or use if you can assert that claim to the fullest, which you can. But again, the 13th Amendment, involuntary servitude. The enforcement of child support through a coercive measure such as wage garnishment, license suspension, and potential incarceration constitutes involuntary servitude. The Supreme Court reaffirmed that forced labor or its equivalent is unconstitutional. So they force you to go to jail, perform a labor at a lower cost, we're not fully agreeing upon. They force you to go to jail, take away your rights and liberties, all based upon your inability to pay. Because the truth is, if you go to court and they say, hey, you got to pay today or you're going to jail, and you be like, man, I only got $5. I can give y'all this $5. That's all I got. So you tried to comply in paying, but the truth is, you're unable to pay the full amount. So can they put you in jail according to the law?
Nope.
They shouldn't.
Nope.
No.
Thank you for saying the no's. I'm one of those people that's certain about what we say in here. So I'm gonna ask y'all again. According to the law, are they supposed to put you in jail? I didn't say they shouldn't, but according to the law.
No.
It's a yes, no.
No. No. Not according to the law.
All right.
Yeah, no.
Now, we didn't say there wouldn't be trespassers, but according to the law, the answer is no. Right? All right. So,
right. Even if the debt were legit, having debt isn't a crime.
it's not. So now we can definitely seek the declaratory judgment here that the enforcement actions imposed by the defendant amount to involuntary servitude and are therefore unconstitutional. Violation of the fundamental right to travel. Now, this is for you guys to get your license, passports, whatever. The revocation or suspension of plaintiff's driver's license and or passport for non-payment of child support infringes upon the plaintiff's fundamental right to travel as recognized in Chaparral versus Thompson, 1969. Supreme Court held that the right to travel is a fundamental right protected by the privilege and immunity clause of the Constitution. They cannot take it away because they can't use contracts to take away our fundamental right. It's a form of deception, it's fraud, and it violates the U.S. Constitution, which has been sworn to be protected. Right? That's another thing. So you get to seek relief to prevent the defendant from revoking or suspending license or passport. and these actions would unconstitutionally restrict the right to travel, right? So challenge to the validity of the original child support order, you get to do that based upon how they served you, right? So is it correct? And it's pretty much just saying what I was saying at other. I'm not going to go back through and read it all. I just wanted y'all to see two main parts here about the right to travel and the involuntary servitude as well. Those two would add to it. All right. Everything else is what we read in the motion to dismiss. We just flipped it over here and made it a civil suit instead of being on the defensive side, which that's all you got to do in any situation. Everything that you would say in defense is the same thing that you would say if you was the plaintiff making the civil claim, which is why you can make counterclaims, right?
Correct.
All right. So with that being said, what's the main thing here, guys, that gets this case knocked out?
Due process.
Due process. And I'm talking about any form of error in due process will get a case dismissed immediately. All right. So I just hope this helps you guys to be able to relate this to some of your family members that's having these problems, especially the ones that's out there trying their hardest to get back on their feet, but they can't seem to get back on their feet because this particular contract causes them harm. They sitting in jail 100 days, getting out, and then having to try to find a way, can't get a job, don't have a reliable ride because maybe their car got repossessed while they were in jail, etc. Like, you got to think about all of this is considered harm upon you that causes you to have what? Financial harm. And it causes harm to the child. Just so y'all know that.
Right.
All right. So, heirs of the state. What's up?
Greeting. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. I was just, hearing you speak, and I just want to express in efforts to make all parties whole, right? Being like oftentimes when they issue a child support order, one remedy to make all parties whole would be just to accept the order and make a deposit in the CRIS system or just pay it to the Treasury. And that way all parties are made whole and you don't have any more issues.
Yeah, that's cool too. But again, I'm not paying nobody shit that's going to be a tyrant and keep infringing upon our rights either. And everybody's in unjust contracts. Somewhere we got to take a stand. We just can't pay off every damn body. I ain't paying nobody to beat me.
So the other party, well, I was under the assumption that the payment, the payment would go to
Even
the
if
opposing
you
party.
listen to what I'm saying, even if what you're saying is right, still in the wrong judicial proceeding. If we don't stop this, we're dealing with tyrants every day. It's okay. Yes, there is a way for that. I have showed that way. But at some point, we got to take a stand. We got to stop it. Because what you just said, there's somebody out there that has to go to court tomorrow and they finna walk in there and they're not able to pay. And they finna go to jail. And they got a job right now. So they doing their best. The best they can. And they still in their child's life, probably picking them up, doing all kind of stuff, right?
Absolutely. Well,
So-
I definitely, I hear your energy. I was speaking more along the lines of negotiable instruments and things of that nature, but I hear what you're saying.
I'm saying like, this is what I'm saying. I've taught it that way once before. I'm a strategic person. So I deal with strategies. I've shown that way. I've shown how to take the court case, convey it, create an equitable title, value it, UCC1. Yeah, I've done it all of that way. But guess what? That's gonna be hard for you to go explain to John over here in the hood who trying and who got to go to court tomorrow. He ain't gonna understand that. And if you send him in there with it, he's still gonna fail at it. What I told you today is something very simple. Just to understand and know your right in this situation. It's a Title 4D contract. Therefore, it has to be agreement between all parties. So if you don't agree with it, they can't enforce you to agree to some form of child support. I don't agree with that. Why? Because I know I can't pay that. There are a certain amount of expenses that goes here and there. And that's going to take away from these expenses that goes here and there. Can't do that. So if this for, and it's different, because if you want to go into all of that different route and all of that, well, if I was on the other end and for a mother that's chasing down a father out here somewhere, well, you got to know you're supposed to be doing the income. So if your child is supposed to be receiving a certain amount of money for child support payment, then why haven't you counted that as income for the year? That's another thing. So you gotta know what the word custodian means. It means that the custodians are handling the financial situations of this particular entity. So if parents are custodians of the child estate, they got to handle the affairs. So the question is, because I know a lot of people are, why are you trying to help them? Why not try to help people that's going to jail, bro, that's out here trying, man? Y'all really think life is that easy sometimes? Just because y'all bitter and mad about some shit and somebody trying to get their shit together, that shit's not easy. For real, for real. I done been on the side of being called all kind of shit. But guess what? What I had to do to maintain to keep my child, I ended up having to sell dope. Everybody glorified that shit. They didn't give a damn about nothing. So that's another way that you got to put a person in another situation to be involved in something else they don't need to be involved in. All because, never mind. I ain't even finna go there.
Okay, bro, you already there. You already there. Keep on.
Take it there.
Real shit.
Hey, I ain't preaching, man. Go on.
Because I know how
Kicking it
people feel.
because
And people only
not-
see one side of things.
Preach, bro,
And it's like you
preach.
gotta see it all. And if you can't see it all, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
And so now, based upon somebody's inability to pay to stay out of jail, they gotta go do some crazy shit they don't want to do to stay out. Because the 9 to 5 ain't kicking like it's kicking. You matter of fact, you can't even work a 9 to 5 and live. You can't work a 9 to 5, have a loan, and etc., and still be able to live accordingly. Somewhere, some is going to be half-ass paid, struggling to get paid, or it's struggling to eat.
Listen to son's appointment.
You got to carry 2 jobs, a hustle or something out here, a side hustle, along with what you're doing to even maintain. And that's to a trying father. I got people hit me up, hey man, I got $800-900, man. They killing me, bro. And you know I got my kids, and I know they do. That's the situation of why I'm saying this today. Because I can tell them, like, go do this and go do that. This man don't know nothing about equity. He don't know nothing about a conveyance, any of that. I done it for people, and for people who don't know. Now, if it's somebody that kind of know what's going on, it is easier to do that, what you was just saying for them. But if they don't know nothing about nothing, that ain't finna fly, because they gonna test your ass when you walk in there. And they see you don't know, you're gonna sign them papers, man. $650 a month. And your check, and you only making $2,000 a month. Think about that. Rent $1,200 a month. Light bill $300-400. Still gotta have food for when the kids come, kids school. Then you done sent the money, and you gotta buy kids school clothes, and you still ain't shit because you ain't gave no extra after the child support.
Ooh-wee.
Preach to him.
Man.
I watched my
real.
brother do it.
You still
I
ain't
watched my
shit,
brother-
Man, tell
even
the
though
truth,
you
brother.
paid the child support.
Man, listen, I got some stories.
Man, do you, like,
Man,
that's why, hey, I'm rooting for y'all out there on everything. On everything, man. And it's crazy because they know that's the way they get y'all caught up in the system. They know that's a way. They know that's a way to put a warrant out on you for child support, and then hopefully we can catch you in the car with some dope because we know that's what you had to do to help, for your child. They know that.
Shut up for failure.
That's the plan.
They know that. They know you go. They know that. Like, and I tell you that, like, they do stuff statistically, so they know the average person is going to resort to some form of crime to make money. Y'all think I'm lying, don't you?
Nope. Been there.
The average,
You telling the exact truth, bro.
Not at all. Facts.
the average is going to commit some form of crime to make $1.
The angle you come from.
That's the thing. So I'm trying to get everybody to really see the harm that you really causing in your community by trying to run this process. All because you want a quick dollar.
Bro, they got me like that, man. I was at work, and the next thing I know is the sheriff picking me up.
Now, they just took you from doing what? Create money to able yourself to pay.
Exactly. And I was sharing address with my ex, and she didn't tell me anything about the court case.
Yeah. I just want y'all to know, man, like, it's a serious situation because I just never forget them folks taking me in. I was at the post office. He was like, "Hey, don't I know you?" I was like, "No, you don't know me." And I looked at his face. He was like, "No, I know who you is, man. I'm supposed to be coming out to your house or whatever." And I was like, "All right, what's up?" And he was like, "I gotta take you in." And I was like, I looked at my watch and stuff. And I was like, "You know what? I got time today. Come on, if we're gonna do this, let's go and get this shit up with." And they told me, I just never forget. They told me I didn't have no court case. I couldn't go to the court. That's a violation. Okay, I don't give a damn. If you bring me in on a warrant, I got to see the magistrate. But they didn't let me. They didn't bring me to court till like a week after. A whole goddamn week. Full violation. Not only that, when I get there, are you gonna pay $5,000 or are you gonna do 250 days in jail? Neither. Neither one. And I meant that. Then when I started telling them about everything that's in trust and all of that, and I said, who I need to make responsible, for the trespassing on the trust, they started pointing fingers at everybody, right? And I was just like looking. So the judge called me up and he was like, "Hey man," he started tapping on the desk and he was like, "I got you." Basically he seen my trust package. He had it. He was looking. He's like, "I got your paperwork, man, but this ain't on me. This on them." So when he said that, I was like, okay, so if the judge can't do nothing about it, even though he know I'm right, it's because now I realize this is a contractual agreement. And it's just, if they are going to say, basically the contract is over. So once I realized that, I said what I said. He was basically letting me know he's not the responsible party. It's the Child Support Enforcement Agency that's bringing the claim. So I understood then that this is not a court type of procedure. This is the administrative procedure that the court was hired by the Child Support Enforcement Agency to take care of. That's it. It's not a Article 3 proceeding. So I ended up getting up out of there. I did not have to do the 250 days. It was 17 days and all. But yeah, we did a contractual trust agreement. And after that, man, they had to let me out. It was no longer in their jurisdiction no more. For sure. It was out the door. So, and ever since then, man, I don't know. It's been that way, but it's just crazy how people would do you or think, and a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know what people go through, yo. Like, man, people out here really trying to take care of their kids, man, but keep getting railroaded, keep getting ran over. And all you can think is to call them sorry or a piece of shit or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm just for real. And then this individual go out there and he got to go do something that put himself in harm's way to make money. And all everybody got their hands out there, and they don't care how you got the money. As soon as you get jammed up, it's look at that motherfucker. I knew that shit was gonna happen. It's all the talk, right? Like, we gotta just do better, man. And I understand it happened, but I just really want to see families be, take care, keep these folks out your shit, man. For real. Keep these folks out your business. That's the point of the village system in the first place. I don't like, and it's just me growing up. Like, man, what the hell is child support when, man, we stand over auntie house, over our cousin house, who we call auntie because she was the same age as the aunties. Like, we everywhere. We eating everybody food. We taking care of. I don't even got to take no clothes with me because I can wear my cousin clothes when I get there. Drawers and all. That's what I don't understand about y'all. That's what I come from. That's what I come from. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see a lot of stuff of what people got to see or how they grew up. I know it's a little different, but that's the point of the village system. That shit don't exist. You looking around and trying to find out who's gonna take care of your child or what's the money gonna come from. When the child, we supposed to look at the child as a blessing to the family. This is adding value. Look at the energy and source of this child that has added value to this family. And now it's the duty of the family to take care and nurture the child physically, spiritually, and mentally, to reach its full capability, to be an asset to the family. If that's not our thought, shit. Let's keep following to this system. Let's keep going to jail. Let's keep being ignorant about what we got going on. Let's leverage our kids against the individual so we can see them in a bad position. Let's just continue the bullshit. You ain't hurt nobody but the child, and continuing the cycle. That's real. You know what I'm saying? It's so real out here, and I wanted to talk about this on all levels with us today because we gotta do better. We raising these children. You was raised, and it don't mean everybody acting how they was raised either. Because remember, once you become at a certain age and you held accountable for what you do, your actions, etc. It's all on you because you made those decisions and choices. So if y'all ain't happy with the decisions and choices that y'all making out here, man, we gotta change it. Gotta change it. And the only way to change it is to literally do something about it. First, start setting up trust. Start thinking about the family wealth. I've been watching Prison Break for the past 2 weeks, right? Well, I just finished it. And that's one of my favorite series to watch, TV show series. But one of the main things that I learned about watching that show is the fact that, man, them folks hated each other. They couldn't stand T-Bag. Michael Scofield and T-Bag had all of them had a certain vendetta. But when it came to the overall greater good for what's for the team, no matter what, they always set that bullshit difference aside. Because the main goal is what mattered. And then that's what you got to do. I don't care. Like, some of y'all got so much pride and hate in your heart that you are a cancer to yourself. You got to start removing the hate. And I'm saying, I ain't saying don't dislike somebody or don't dislike something. That's okay. That's fine. But where you start disliking or hating something to where it starts causing you harm and affecting the community based upon you not being able to set aside your pride for what's going to what? Make sure we good. We can put the boxing gloves on after we make sure we good. Right?
Right.
I got a cousin I still want to fight to this day. And if I ever see him, it's going to be a polite, come on out here to the back. We're going to knock it up and I'm going to hand him a bill. But he got to get the win. and it's gonna be love. But he gotta get it. That's real. And I'm serious when I say that. But I ain't got no hate for him to where I ain't gonna like this person to where if his kids was in a situation, that's my family, that I ain't gonna help them. That I ain't gonna feed them. That ain't gonna, because that's my blood. I'm not gonna do that based upon the fault of their father. That's stupid. Oh yeah, bro, he gotta get the win. I promise. It's just one of those things. It's just a respect thing. That's all. And I gotta keep mine. So, but I'm just serious when I say that, man. Like, cause me for real, it's a lot of people that I don't get along with, but bro, I ain't finna bother you. I'm not finna cause harm to you. If I see you out somewhere, you need some help or something, I'll help you. As long as I know it ain't finna cause no harm to me or something, then yeah, I'll help you. I'll help your children, your family, your mama, whoever. But some people, y'all just got it so twisted, man. It's just, we harming ourselves. We causing harm to ourselves. And we got to stop it. We got to change it. That's all I'm saying, y'all. And this is like everything that we doing is good that we doing this law stuff, the taxes and all of that. But shit, it still go back to character. Still go back to morals and principles and who you are. Because we can't keep none of this if we go back to doing the same thing that got us in the same damn place in the first place. Right? It ain't gonna change nothing. Right. So you can talk about, oh, I got this tax, I got this, I got that, but man, we can have all this money, but if we ain't doing nothing with it to build the right communities that we want to have, you wasting our time. Go hang with Jay-Z and all the rest of them. Go hang with them. Because they can't do what they want to with their money. That's the difference. You know why you don't see them doing things like that with their money? Because they can't. Imagine being able to get all that money, and then the people still control how you have to spend.
Yeah, for the people in.
Yeah, that's crazy. A lot of y'all, and that's just like even the Young Thug case, he did do a lot of stuff, and they've been going on since 2012. They got all the proof and everything. But why is it when he decided to build Slime City, they lock his ass up? Why? Y'all, we knew he shut up Lil Wayne stuff way back then, right? We've been knowing that. Y'all knew that, right?
Yep.
So why is it when he decided to build a city, he gets locked up? Why is it when Kanye starts to build a city, they start messing with him?
Because they don't want the community to come together as a people.
One is because they got the power to do it. Think about that. So that's what I'm saying is be careful where you get your money from, because they'll control it.
Well, as the statement says, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
And it do. I totally agree with that. So the main thing for today was you guys to really see your rights in this. It wasn't so much as about child support. It's about right, fairness, just, equity, being able to think quick on your feet, knowing what's going on, just scenarios that happens to you. Because we can take this and still think about rights. Just because we talk about the fundamental right to travel, it also deals with the liberty. You see what I'm saying? So they can't take that away from you. Ever. Got it?
You travel just like the upward.
Got it. All right, number 2. What's happening?
Peace. That's a LL. It's Luna Light. Gratitude. I really appreciate the talk, and I just wanted to mention my daughter was listening, and then that last part, when you're talking about the community and standing up for your rights, and she's 11, and she was just like, "Hey, mom, it's kind of like He's kind of like Morpheus. What? I can show you the door, but you're the one that's got to walk through it." And she said it's kind of like how you were telling our friend today, because I just sent him this video in his messenger. One of my friends from high school is going through this situation, and just earlier today he was kind of like backtracking, like, man, well, maybe I am kind of comfortable in the matrix. You know what I'm saying? And then literally like an hour later, he talked to his lawyer, and his baby mom's is like, demanding some other shit. And so now he's like, no, like, I'll talk to you tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just wanted to say gratitude, and that, that this community thing is really where it's at, and we're going to be in a lot better place to actively do that ourselves, versus like being forced to, when things get even more crazy in the false matrix. So appreciate you.
Appreciate everyone else, man, as well. And I mean, even the babies understand. Is all I can say. They know.
Yeah.
They know how important freedom is.
Right. And it's funny you said that. My baby's father's name is John John. I mean, I've never I never contracted her with the state or anything like that. He's never had to deal with child support, but we definitely been through it with these courts. But that was just interesting that you said that.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
All right, so how many of you guys have beat child support cases in here right now? Raise your hand. All right, so Mo Cassio, you want to start with you? How you beat your child support case?
So as for me, when they did that, because when they did that, they took me to jail, and before they took me to jail, they actually had to go in front of a judge. It was in Memphis, Tennessee, and the judge said, "Do you understand why you're here?" I was like, "I don't know what's going on. I was just working, and the sheriff just picked me up." And the judge was like, "Well, we've been mailing you. You're supposed to be served and whatnot." And anyways, long story short, the judge said, "What do you do?" He asked me about my job. I was like, "I work at Lexus, and I'm a technician there, and blah blah blah." And the judge was basically nice. He was like, "I can't do anything until you guys correct the situation." So I did not understood what he was talking about. He was telling the lawyer that was bringing the case against me, like, "I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna take him to jail or anything until you guys correct and take the right procedures." And that was that. And basically, like, "You're free to go. There's nothing right now. And if there's anything, we will contact you." And ever since that day, I just been hooked on just learning about my rights. And that's why I'm here now. And when they reached an agreement, they sent me anything. I just bluffed, "Hey, does this court, see any trust matters?" And you just said, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Well, there's a trust here, and I need to know if you guys are able to see trust matter." I was bluffing, because
Right.
I paid some guy to put some papers together. I don't know. I found him on Facebook. And I was like, "Here's my trust documents." And the judge was like, "Okay, we will contact you if we need you." And they never contacted me.
They get scared of trust, especially if they already been hit by it once before. A lot of these child support enforcement agency has been hit here lately, especially since we've been doing this type of stuff. I mean, everywhere. And they starting to catch on to just get out your way. I do know that. So, Brother Terry, you had your hand up. You want to share one of your experiences?
Oh, peace and love, everybody. It wasn't an experience I had myself. It's where I had a couple people, relatives, and a couple friends I helped in a couple different states. And one of the cases I had was a guy and a cousin in Tennessee with 4 different child support cases. And one of the main things they was hitting him with was the mom wanted to keep increasing it, and he was paying for three kids, 2 twins or triplets, and he was paying like $2,200 a month. And that was kind of outrageous. He couldn't hardly live to even support himself, and then he was trying to do visitation rights and do extra things, and he was almost to the point he was almost homeless. And I stepped in and used one of the processes we in season one, a combination of season 1, 2, and 3, and I helped and took care of that case. Talking about using it coming from the trust, and
Right.
we took care of that about 4 months ago, and he had any problem with that. Matter of fact, when we came from the trust, they heard, and the judge didn't want to hear it. He gave it back to the child support agency. He said he didn't have no part in it, and the district attorney, prosecuting attorney, excuse me, didn't want nothing to do with it. Child support agency dropped it, and we did a taxation on it, and he's been doing fine ever since then on all 4 of the cases together. That was one of them, and the second one was due where when my cousin got picked up off his job because he had a court date. He know he had a warrant out, and we kind of handled that with a certificate of security and coming from the trust, and we kind of did some overpayments for the future, and so he's out of it now. So that was it had 4 altogether, but we won all 4 of them based on those things there. Simply because a couple of them was due to due process as well. We kind of touched on that with a combination, like I said, season 1, 2, and 3, and a little bit of 4. So we just have to be patient, and the main thing is we have to talk to our younger people that's going out here doing things and tell them, explain to them their rights. I started having classes with some of my family members, younger males and females, about helping them to understand their rights and enforcing their rights. And we have to keep doing that. And as time goes on, I'll probably spread it a little bit further, reach out a little bit further to help younger people.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. When he says season 1, 2, and 3 like I say, it goes back into what the Air of Estate was asking earlier. Yeah, we convey the court case because again, it is an account and it is also intangible property. And I always tell you, anything that has the name within it, you have interest in it. So you get to claim your interest within that particular property. And we get to claim it in realm. We can also do an executive letter to go with that as well. And also you can put the birth certificate, certificate of security. You can turn it over on the back and you can treat it like a negotiable instrument to the fullest, and you can pay off your child support and you can do the 1099s and things like that that needs to be done on it as well for taxational purposes. So yes, family, it's possible. Many different ways to handle this situation. I just really wanted to, like I say, this was really more about you guys going in and exercising your right and knowing your right, listening to the rights that we're speaking on and understanding seizure of your property, due process of law, and things of that nature, because this applies to a lot of different cases. So you need to truly understand that. And what is a true judicial setting? A procedural setting. What is the formal judicial setting? And again, if you're not amongst your peers, the jury, etc., then that should let you know everything. All right. All right. So it's just many different ways. So that they can be handled. All right, Kim, you're up.
Hello, peace, everybody. So I just listened to this because I don't have a case, but I was in a case and I have my husband, my ex-husband. He was, having that issue that you were going over, how he was getting his license suspended and, he was a truck driver, so it was definitely affecting his income. Of course, I wanted to work with him as much as I could. He just wouldn't help me out. But when it got to the point where he was like owing like $99,000, and I knew it was like no way he would ever be able to pay it, and they locked him up and all of that kind of stuff, I was like, this is not right. So I just dropped the case, you know, and the court was trying to, they were trying to make me stay on it. Like they really resisted. And it was like, that's when I realized, I was like, this is really not a good situation. But I just wanted to advise, you know, that just like you were saying, there's a lot of people who are working very hard to, you know, try and comply with these orders and things of that nature, but it's just, it becomes impossible because they put it the way that they, like the lady said, that somebody attached the child support order based on some overtime she had did. They basically did the same thing to him. And you know, I feel like if everybody could try to work it out without going to court, that would be fantastic. I mean, it would make a better opportunity for everybody, the kids especially. But yeah, I just wanted to offer that as a, you know, like a little testimony that I realized that was like terrorizing this man. So yeah, but that's
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Even in situations like that, again, like I say, claiming his income, you can write it off as bad debt because just like you said, this person's never going to be able to pay it. So you still can make it beneficial to you because, again, somebody's inability to pay something becomes bad debt. So I hope that makes sense.
Got it.
All right, Brother Lateef, what's good? Oh, the mute monster got him, but he not buy it. Go ahead, Lateef. Waiting on you. All right, the next king, you up?
Peace, brother. I just wanted to.
Not you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm still new at all this. My situation is a little different, but I just wanted to share because I did get a win, kinda. My child support case was originally set to 0, so I didn't have to pay anything. And you know, I was doing my part, going half on everything. And then she got mad about the situation. You know, you get in a relationship, stuff changed. So anyway, she brought it to court, and they was trying to like really run me into a wall. So I ended up not going, you know what I'm saying? Because I was mad. I missed like 11 court dates on purpose. They issued a writ of body attachment for me in the amount of $500. And then I just didn't go. So finally, I think I went, she told me that it got dismissed or something. So I'm like, dismissed? I said, okay. But then I went back and looked at what I filed. I filed a color of law form on the attorney. I filed one on the clerk, and I filed one on the judge. So when I went to the courthouse to get copies of it being dismissed, they had went and printed up the warrant saying that I had a warrant. So I'm like, okay, cool. So on the warrant, it wasn't signed by a judge, and then it didn't have a seal on it. So I'm like, okay, right. Right. So when the sheriffs came, you know what I'm saying, they're trying to arrest me unless I have $500 on me right now. And I'm just like, so let me get this straight. You guys are going to arrest me with this piece of paper right here. That's not signed by anybody. It's no stamp. It's no seal. So then she showed me a little seal on the paper, but it is like a seal that you would see like from the state, but not from like a judge. And I told her, ma'am, that's a regular seal. That's not the judge's seal. That's not the prosecutor's seal. I said, okay, fine. You said it's $500. I give them the $500. I pay it right then and there. Then they set the new court date. When I go back to the court date, like it's like a month later, the judge dismissed it because the attorney general didn't show up. And I said, that might be the color of law form. I'm not sure. But when she dismissed it, I said, Your Honor, so what do I go do about getting my $500 back? She said, Mr. King, just get out of my courtroom. I said, no, we got to discuss my money. So she said, get out of my courtroom. So I go downstairs to talk to the people. And I'm like, hey, this is the paper case with Smith. I need to collect my $500. And she said, well, you have to talk to the judge about that. I said, I don't have to talk to the judge about it. I said, I'm just here for my money. So she said, well, it's sitting here, but it doesn't have any instructions. I said, well, can I talk to someone that's higher than you then? And so the lady, like, over the whole thing came, and she had looked at it and said, well, what's going on? I said, the case got dismissed. I need my money back. It's not being allocated to the state and the school funds and all that stuff. I just need my money back. And she said, well, you have to talk to a judge. I said, well, can you do me a favor? I said, can you print out the last thing that they filed on me, which was the writ for body of attachment? And she printed that out, and I showed her. I said, this right here is I'm finna get my money back right now. I said, because this right here, you guys messed up. And she looked at it. I said, the judge didn't sign off on this. I came down here to get a piece of paper. That lady here tried to have me arrested with this piece of paper that she printed out. So another guy came and he said, yeah, we'll give him his money back. So they wrote a check right then and there for the $500. And I just kept the thing because I kept that paper because I plan on going back to court for the violation of due process, but I still need to learn a little more.
Well, the case was dismissed, so now it becomes a form of malicious prosecution as well, because they did things outside due process. Or it could be considered a form of, well, he had the warrant press. So we just say malicious prosecution because they dismissed the case. And again, anytime the case is dismissed, it's their duty to pay the court fees. They was going to use your $500 to pay the court fees. So I'm glad you went and got that. Now, here's the thing. Anybody else run into a situation like that, make sure you get the individual name that you gave the money to and hold him responsible for that through taxation. I bet you they'll find a way, because he's going to go to them and say, hey, man, you know that money for the child support situation y'all had me get? Yeah, I got a tax issue on that. So, yeah, we got to handle this. You see what I'm saying? It's gonna cause them a problem because it's all about who you gave the money to. So he wasn't a clerk. You gave the money directly to that particular officer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you could find a way if you needed to. But
I'm still looking
you on that, brother.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Latif, you got your hand up. You want to try it again?
Man, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on, because it's funny how you kicked off the class about going back in 1 and 2. And just like Mr. Terry, season 1 and 2 and 2 and 3, we've got a lot of cases won based off of that. So don't brush them classes off, because we were beating classes. This is a great document, but we were beating classes, like I said, with the cases with the executor letter, the certificate of security, the taxation, and all those basic things. But it was great to learn that type of foundation. So it was just interesting how you kicked it off about going back to those season 1, 2, and 3, because we learned something. We learned so much from those, including season 4. And I have a testimony. My sister just texted me maybe like 30 minutes ago, and she had like a $7,000 tax bill, and she just checked it, and it's showing 40 grand return. So we did an overpayment, and that 40 grand, I'm telling you, it helps a lot of people. So my sister is busy. She helping my parents, and she couldn't believe it because they're kind of skeptical. But I just want to say thank y'all and the teaching, and God, just stick to the script. Stay focused on the master plan.
Facts, man. Congratulations, brother. As always, for your due diligence, and I know you always taking care of your family and stuff like that. So, and appreciate you, bro, for real, always.
Man, I appreciate y'all.
All righty, Arissa Sawyer, you want to end the class for us today?
Yeah, I came on late. I apologize, but I'm listening to the testimonies, and I just wanted to ask you, because my child support situation is different. I got an absent father, and I do have him on child support, but with which he recently took me to get his stuff lowered, which I don't really want to go back and forth with court. But is there a process that is available or a class that I can gather that would show me how to maybe, I don't know.
Y'all
I
cool?
guess, I'm sorry, receive like a payment.
Are y'all cool?
Are we cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, yeah, I guess so. We don't really talk,
Can
unless,
y'all sit down and have a cordial conversation?
yeah, we can sit down and have a cordial conversation. Yeah.
Well, you need to sit down and have a conversation and say, hey, we need to get this child support thing ended and we need to get it ended now. And you're going to come learn how to do certain things to do a bill of exchange so we can get this fully paid in and we receive payment. You go your way and what you need to do, and we go our way.
Okay, so you're saying to do a bill of exchange, and that's under, I guess, which class?
Guys, Brother Terry Lateef.
Wait, is that the season 1 and 2 is that Lateef that just says season 1 and 2?
I mean, there's so many classes I can't think. I'm telling you, we've been doing class after class. We done did 80. We done did over 100.
Forgive our debtors, in God we trust.
God we trust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of them.
Okay. So the In God We Trust will cover it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's also 3 child support classes on the website too. So
it covers some of it, but like for the most part, you could go back to the I tell you what, Behind the Gavel, that's a good one with the child support. The bill of exchange, like the one we just recently done to know that. The Forgive Our Debtors, that's good. I mean, because the thing is this. I keep showing y'all like it's so I gotta figure out how I want to break this down to y'all today, because I done told you this in many different ways.
So many ways.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like the situation here with us in the United States is your energy. When you were born, you were weighed and measured like gold. Okay, weights and measures is how you do money. So why do you think they weighed and measured you? All right, and that energy, that source of what you are, again, is what they have in evidence of value. I'm gonna use that word, evidence of value of the worth. Okay, so now they give Federal Reserve notes, and they gave you a surety, because this surety is for you to use to settle any public and private debts that you may come into while dealing with the actual United States, right? So that's the situation. So now all we are doing is anytime that you go and do something on behalf of this entity or whatever, or for it, that's you extending credit. That's you giving energy. That's you taking and valuing the labor, goods, services, and products, right? At all times. So again, this is why I say convey this into the trust, because now the trust has control and can use it as a surety. If you go and try to get something right now for the trust, like a line of credit, the first thing they're going to ask you is, hey, the trust does not have a line of credit. We're going to need a what? Social Security number, right? So you give them the surety of the trust, the Social Security number. Once you give them that, that right there is you extending the credit to whatever amount that it may be. You see what I'm saying? And as soon as debt is created, credit is created. As soon as credit is created, so is debt. They never come without each other. That's the thing. So y'all got to look at it like, let's say I'm the one that's making the Federal Reserve notes right now. I'm the one that's crediting the currency. All right. So if you guys don't tell me about your transactions, then I'm not going to put enough money out in the economy for your particular transactions. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So it's all got to be reported, right? Always, 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 always. Make your claim, assert it, and everything that we do. Again, we are what extend the credit into the United States by our obligation to perform, by your participation. Your participation is a financial asset. Your What else? Obligation of a person is a financial asset. Your share is considered a financial asset as well. So once you see that, and this is the reason why I say when it comes to the United States, the only thing we are doing is taking property, whether tangible or intangible, and we're valuing it in a certain currency, United States, right? US dollar. So every time we do that, what we're doing is saying it's equivalent to cash. So this book is equivalent to $30, 30 United States dollars. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
This is the
I got a
thing.
lot of
Okay. So
okay.
everything that we do, just like this bottle of water, I can say it's 50 bucks. So I just monetized this. I just created money. It's equivalent to 50 bucks. So whatever we exchange, and we're saying it's equivalent to cash. If you are exchanging a promissory note to receive credits, it's equivalent. That's the reason why negotiable instruments, etc., is equivalent to cash, right?
Right.
Okay. So that's why in situations like they were just talking about earlier, the title, well, the birth certificate can be represented as if it's a certificate of title or to a particular property, right? And then you're giving them the rights to that in value of by you administrating. And all of this comes from it's all coming from private. Everything that we do is like from private into the public. We have to extend the credit because there is no money in the public. It all stays in the private until we extend it there.
Okay.
Everybody got that?
Sure do.
Yeah, thank you for asking. Sounds like I don't feel like going back and forth. I'm done. I don't want to be in court. But at the same time, if I don't get child support, he ain't gonna do nothing. But I'm like, I don't know. And I'm hoping to get to a better understanding whereas I don't even need support. But right now she's 5 and I just
Because like I keep telling y'all, like we don't even have to have the physical dollar to make or create or exchange your money. My services now can be valued. I can value my services right now. You see what I'm saying? And I can consider what I did today based on the hour amount. I can consider this as a form of charitable service. This could be considered a what? Non-cash payment, which is evidence of value.
okay.
So how much do I want to value this conversation? I can say I'm gonna value this conversation at $2 million.
He just showed you how to get that bread so you don't need that child support.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal. Because I'm done. My twins are going to be 19 in October, and that was a long thing. And I'm like, I don't even want to do that again now. So
Well, he just said he told you what to do.
yeah. I just got to get a better understanding though, so I can execute it.
I mean, we've been doing bills of exchange in here for how long, y'all?
You really what is it? You started incorporating them really in season 2, right?
I think season 2, coming into season 2.
Yeah,
Season 2.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was season 2 when we started going in. Now y'all slipping on that season 2, I'm telling you. I mean, all of them. Take some time to go get them things, man. Press play.
So I like we've been doing this for a minute. We've done bills of exchange for credit card cases, won them, child support, won them, all those situations. And like I always tell y'all, I always operate from trust anyway. But sometimes I don't really get to speak on that as much just due to the understanding of others. Everybody's not going to have the level of understanding that you are having at this moment to go do what it is or something simple that can literally protect them or save them from going to be locked up or something. So I know, and this is one thing. This is one thing I do. I will never go on nobody's platform trying to say this or that, because that might not be the specific reason of what the individual is teaching for. And a lot of people don't understand that. And a lot of people would think we ignorant or stupid or don't know something because we didn't specifically say what they said or wanted to be said, as if we don't already do that. So don't think we don't know or don't know how to. We just gave you a different strategy today, and to help you understand rights, interests, your interest in the rights, and understanding that the Constitution is a trust indenture. That's another thing. It's a contract that you get to fully exercise in your benefit. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Now, the next time we come in here, Monday, we're going to come in here and we're going to do it exactly the way y'all think we don't know how to do it. Because a lot of people are like, well, why you just didn't do it that way? Why? Yeah, I'm going to take you on a whole roller coaster ride, and I'm going to show you exactly the way you think we're ignorant of and don't know how to do it. I'm going to show you we already been doing it. We just learned to communicate with people on all levels, which is hard for some of you to do that start growing into this particular on this journey. It's hard for you to come down to others and explain things to them so that they can take care of a situation based on the knowledge that they have now. And that's
Alrighty, that is going to conclude us at this time. As you know, this is from Work Session Season 4. It's actually up on our website right now, InGodWeTrustAcademy.com. So yeah, you can definitely go and get that right now. It's called, it says child support, and then it has the number 2 beside it. So yeah, that's on our website, InGodWeTrustAcademy.com. So make sure that you guys are there with us. All right. Do not forget about the private administration conference that we got coming up December the 7th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time. Even things like what you have seen somewhat today will also be kind of involved in it as well. That has a lot to do with being able to settle with the Child Support Enforcement Agency without even going to court as well. So it's a lot of different things that we could do, show you when it comes to financial strategies and, you know, all these different things, lawful money protection, helping you out on saving your taxes and, you know, never have to pay taxes again, to be honest with you. And if you do, show you how to report to the Attorney General and to receive those those funds back, right? Also, keep in mind that December the 4th is the deadline for in-person. November the 30th is the deadline for the live stream, right? So make sure you do everything that you see here on this flyer and go follow us on all the different social media websites, YouTube, In God We Trust Academy, Twitch, In God We Trust Academy, Facebook, In God We Trust Academy, and Eric Ingram Bay. And of course, TikTok, MNRP 619 2020 or Turban Swag. So make sure that you guys are locking in with us. Do not forget about Monday's work sessions tomorrow. Work sessions are free for those of you that do not know. Okay? Work sessions are free. Work sessions are free. So as you see right here, In God We Trust Academy Work Session Season 5, presented by myself, Eric Ingram Bay, and hosted by the Eric Ingram Bay Live and Trust. Monday, 11 a.m. Central Time. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central Time. Attendees, do what you see right here on this flyer to fully register. All right, and make sure that you fully read everything in the email. Always check your spam. Also, we got coming up on the 29th of this month, White Friday sale. I know it says 2025, but it's actually 2024. We got 50% off on everything on the website except for the upcoming class, private administration, consultations, and a few books and stuff like that. But other than that, for the most part, all past conferences, work sessions, anything that you guys see on there will be half off, right? So save your money up for that time. There's some special things on there for you guys. Please do. rock with us, man. So appreciate you guys and your time, as you guys could have been doing anything else for the day, but you chose to rock and kick it with us here In God We Trust Academy. So we definitely appreciate it. We hope that each and every last one of you learned something here with us today, especially when it comes to your rights and also being able to deal with stuff according to, child support and other things like that, right? So again, it's just been beautiful, beautiful day. And we'll probably catch you guys live. I won't do a rerun tonight, but I will be going live. So we'll be in here answering questions and stuff like that. So make sure y'all tune in with us later on tonight. Just be on the watch out. I can't really say the time, but you know how we do. We just pop up. So again, man, appreciate you guys. Y'all have a great and beautiful day. We out of here.